Hey guys, Jason here. Just seeing who's on, if anybody. All right, well, I'll work on some rings here, and feel free to join in anytime if you're there. Just finishing up an order. So Walk and Liberty size 12, 1942. All right, looks like we got a few viewers. Now feel free to join in on the video and the audio. I think you can click on that URL that's on the right there, or copy and paste, or just type in some questions. I think it's working. Okay, let me know who's on there. Okay, there's Tina and Ross. Hey, Ross. Excellent. Well, it looks like Tina Henderson and Ross. I'm just gonna get my paperwork. You can see in the chat. Okay, that sounds good, Ross. Looks like I'll have to go on this page and not the other. That's too bad. Well, how you guys doing tonight? Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts. Okay, question from Tina. What do you use for annealing, the propane or butane? I use, it's actually, I started with propane burner, just like this guy here. Switch over. That's what I started with, started using, and still do it when I'm making the rings out at farmers markets or craft fairs, whatnot. But for the shop, see if I can take the camera. I've actually got it set up with the propane and oxygen tank, and then also settling over there. But that's more for melting the silver. But just use the oxygen propane, a little bit hotter flame. And I've got a rosebud tip torch. This guy here, you can get it off of Rio Grande. It's a jeweler's torch with a rosebud tip for heating large objects, or for jewelry wise anyways. But it works really good. I just set it here in the vise. Do a little fuel mixture, propane, and then bring in your oxygen. And then shut your oxygen off first and then your propane last. And you want to make sure to have a bushy flame, lots of fuel, not a lot of oxygen. So, Ross asked the question about nail files. Yeah, I go to beauty supply shops. That's where I like to get the nail files. And I'll start with the coarse grit. It has I guess they do like a color coding, or they code the grit by color, I guess. But it's purple and the black grit, and then I'll move to a yellow medium, and then this one is a combination. It has a fine and extra fine, or actually a polish, but that works really good. And you can even separate. You can tear these off and then use them for the inside of the ring as well, which is a great tip too. So, but yeah, probably the beauty supply shops would be your best bet. So there's usually quite a few of those. Walmart, yeah, I actually haven't tried there. I think they've got like a beauty supply location. I'm sure they do. They got everything. But that's what I'm working on right now, is just getting this ring finished up, going to finer and finer grits. So cool. Yeah, Tina, how long have you been making the rings for? I'd like to know a little bit about your history, and same for you, Ross. And what got you started? I guess I can ask questions too, right? Okay, so Tina asks about the reduction cones for the European coins. I've been able to do a lot, actually all of the coins so far with these specific dies. The 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and the 1.6 sizes. 1.6 will do everything from a silver eagle down. And I found that, well, I use this as a template to design these, and I actually figured out a more efficient ratio of reducing, so that you don't have to have so many different sizes. So trying to make it as most efficient as possible, I came up with this design here, which seems to be working very well. And you can basically do any size coin from a $50 up to a silver eagle. It doesn't really matter what country they're from, or what size it is, as long as it's in between that size. I found that these will do from, well, smaller than a dime up to a presidential dollar. So that's what this die would be used for. But these are specific for the larger coins, for the larger rings. Let me know if that answered your question there, Tina. Oh, wow. Silversmithing, 23 years. Gosh, you got to teach me some stuff. That's that's excellent. That's a lot of fun. That's one thing I noticed with silver is that it has some very unique qualities and just an absolute joy to work with. So. Sounds good, Ross. Cool. Yeah, hard to find machinists. It took me years and years and years to find one, a good one. Yeah, the nickel and zinc. I haven't done a lot of work with that. Well, I mean, with the clad coins, I suppose, but I try to stay away from the clad coins. I prefer the precious metals, just because I don't know. I've done some work with bracelets and with the brass and copper, but really prefer the silver. Cool. I don't know, Tina, if you can see, I guess Ross can't get on, but if you can, I don't know if you have a Google Plus account, but if you want, you can get on and do video and audio with me live if you want. Yeah, no hammering method. I tried that once and that turned out pretty bad. So yeah, that's a tough way to go. Hammering with an anvil. That's where where's that block? That was my original idea, was to hammer the rings through, you know, different sized holes for different sized coins, and that worked really good, but just seemed like it was really damaging the inside of the coin, and that's when Adam McKinney started using the dies to fold the coins using the dapping. Where's my dapping block? That's buried. Anyways, saw that. It's like, man, that's ingenious. Just use that with and found these plastic balls and thought, it'd be worth trying. And sure enough, it worked out really good. But yeah, the hammering technique is a lot of work. Cool. Sounds like Tina's gonna try it. I'll keep going while you guys are getting on there. Oh, Ross, wasn't sure if you were able to find that Black Max. Let's see. A live Twitch stream. I don't know what that is. I have no idea. I'm pretty new at all this stuff, so yeah, you'll have to inform me what the live Twitch stream is. Is that similar to Google Hangouts? gonna buff this real quick. Yeah, Ross is saying about the nickel coin. Yeah, that's super tough metal. I've been trying to do some research and development on different techniques on that nickel, and it's tough. I found that the where'd it go? Using this steel mandrel here is just about the best way, and go old school with the block, and really only hit a small portion of the inside of the nickel, and you don't lose detail or that much anyhow. The nickels are tough. I've tried doing the European euro, and also some Spanish or Mexican coins that have the silver and the gold, the zinc and nickel, but the two different types of metal, and I couldn't get it to go. But those would make pretty rings. Okay. The Twitch is a subscription. That might be the way to go. That sounds good. Excellent. Thank you for the tip, Tina. I will certainly look into that. All right, and then final size of this here. Oh, that's always good. Cool. I don't think you can do that here. Huh. Does Twitch, do they go through, do they run through YouTube, or is that completely different setup? I could probably Google it, right? Canadian Australian, cool. Okay. Yeah, those dies will work for those. Getting quite a few people in Australia, actually, and Great Britain, getting them and just loving them. So they're working good for those. And it does go through YouTube. Okay. Excellent. Ah, okay. Piece of chipboard. I actually do use, I started putting, this is Ross asking about the RAM here. I do have some UHMW tape. Since I don't use it here anymore, I figured I got to use it for somewhere. So I put some on the ram. That way it doesn't, I never had too much of a problem with the marking of the reed on the coin, but figured, it couldn't hurt. And then I'm also in the process of, there's my coin anvil that I use to help straighten wobbly coins. I'm going to be putting some of this, what's it called? Urethane pad. I was going to put that on there. Let me make sure I got that name right. Yeah, you're pretty sure it's urethane. I was going to put that on there, glue it, and stick it on there so that I don't have to always slide it in and out, but it's always affixed, always there. So the chipboard's a good idea. I like that. Wow. Live streaming daily. That's a lot of work. Excellent. Thank you for the tip, Tina. Cool. Let's see. Lubricate and grease for which, Tina's asking about the lubrication and grease, for what tool or what technique, or yeah, for the reduction dies, I would assume. So what the lubrication I do use for reduction, which isn't really all that necessary, but it is for the larger coins, or the coins made out of brass or um, copper, or just really thick, like thick Morgan coins. I will use some of Burlife, or you can use, just like soap or something. But I'll take the coin and just rub the outside real quick, and then place it inside the die, reduction die, and then press down. You can also, if it's really tough, then you can use some white lithium grease. Just do a little squirt inside the die, and that helps it as well, because that's really the whole trick. To not have to use a arbor press or a hydraulic press and just use your ring sizer for reducing, is to make sure that your dies are highly polished on the inside, and that you use a lubrication to help reduce friction. And then you can use that. Tina's surprised there's not more people online. That's okay. 3's good. 4, yeah. Yeah, it'd be neat to get a bunch of people up online on video and audio, and that'd be kind of fun. I was watching some other guys do that and thought that was kind of neat, so thought I'd give it a shot. I don't know if that's working for you guys or not, as far as being able to click that link or copy and paste. It should be down there on the remarks. Yeah, I guess you have to have a Google Plus account, so. I'll keep going here. Oh, could I do the paraffin? Yeah. I think that would work fine. This stuff's pretty pricey, so paraffin's cheap. If it's working good for you, I'd stick with that. Well, not the best camera, but there's that guy. Yeah, I'll have to get a better camera. Turned out nice though. I don't know what you use, Ross, for shipping your coins, but found those little velvet bags that work good. Okay, White Rouge, buffing wheel. Yeah. Yeah, I've been going back and forth on the finishing technique. Always trying to find a good way, and I'll probably change it next week. But yeah, I got the White Rouge as well here. But I actually do half of the wheel on with the rouge, and then the other half with no rouge. That way, I can set that that patina and get that nice dark shine to it without taking the chance of polishing it off with the rouge. So. I'll start one more coin. Oh, I see Ross got something else. See for a different kind of look and finish. I also use Eagle One Never Dull. Huh, never heard of that. Unfortunately, it has a strong, oh, yeah, strong chemical smell. I'd have to ask you what type of look it gives. Is it just like a way to color it, or does it leave more of like a different patina? Sounds interesting. People are always looking for different ways to finish the coin. Okay. Punching a hole in a $half. Cleans and polishes. Cool. Okay. Oh, that fell off. I'm just folding this guy. I'll use that smaller ball and go to the next size. I can feel that coin getting work hardened. I'm ready for the next one, so I'll anneal again. Huh. Looks like a good tip you got there, Ross. So the base metal coins, okay. Product called Solution Midas Finish Seal. Ah, excellent. Wonder if that would work to help hold the patina. I've tried using that for the silver coins, but never had really good luck with it. Oh, don't use it on silver. Okay, not recommended. There you go. Oh, it's Tina. Sorry, Tina had that. Cool. Okay. Yeah, Tina, question for you as well. Would you be working with the silver mainly with the old Australian coins and Canadian coins, or would you be working more with the clad? I've seen people really they kind of pick one or the other. Oh, Ross has something here. Small coin envelope. Yeah, good point. With the bigger rings and the padded envelope, never know. I've had good luck using the flat rate envelope. Okay, the gel liver. Yeah, I haven't used that yet. I've got the that stuff, just the granular liver sulfur, and I was using that with the well, when I quench in the water to darken it each time. But came across actually Michael Parrott, who turned me on to that stuff. Black Max, the rear brand. I'm sure you've seen that too. So, but I'll have to try that gel liver of sulfur. Cool. And you guys are giving me more tips than I'm giving you so far. Yeah, that's what I did as well, Tina, with the practice on the clad. Oh, mainly is pre-66. Okay. So did Canada stop issuing silver in 66? It was 65 was the first clad year for the U.S. So interesting. And it's also 80% silver for the Canadian loonies, right? And whatnot. So yeah, it being 80%, that'll be a little bit stiffer or harder of a coin to fold for sure, but not bad. I think my most difficult one was a 1944 peso. It's kind of interesting how all of our money went from silver to copper and nickel all over the world, but at the same time. Excellent. 7 viewers. Cool. Well, I'm glad you and Tina are chipping in. I really appreciate it, guys. Okay, 66 the standard Commonwealth countries. Okay. Interesting. I do like working with gold and platinum. Those are awfully fun metals as well. I don't know if Ross and Tina, if you guys have worked with those or not. Those are a little nerve-wracking, but a lot of fun. All right, got a new one in there. So we got a question from Hummer 3D. Yes, I do. Just use the ring sizer and the balls and the dies here. So I don't use the arbor press or hydraulic press. Just trying to keep it simple, as simple as possible. I did try using the arbor press when I was first learning how to do, or trying to figure out how to make a Morgan ring, and I wasn't able to do it with this guy, so I bought an arbor press, and I couldn't do it with an arbor press. So I figured I got to do something different, and I found that it's just all technique, and just having a really high polish on your die, and also using a lubricant to help reduce friction, and you can do everything on your ring sizer. So. Yeah, it might have been the Cinco peso. It was about the size of a Morgan dollar. Was the one I was working on, and that sucker. Oh my gosh, it was extremely hard, and it wobbled like crazy. The wobbling is the worst. That's just a real headache when that starts to happen. That's for sure. And there's oh gosh, it's been a few years now, but I was making rings at a farmer's market, and a gentleman came up and gave me one of those, large peso coin. He said, "Oh, my grandfather gave me this, when I was a kid on his deathbed or something like that. And can you make a ring out of it?" It's like, oh my gosh, sure, I can do that. And I didn't realize how difficult they were, but I was able to make it for him. And that's always special when you get a request like that from somebody who has a real sentimental coin and they ask you to make a ring for them. I just think that's pretty amazing. Get it in there. That guy was starting to wobble a little bit. Okay. Patina, let's see. Lumista, sounds like a good site. That's a great resource there. I usually go to the little red book to find the value of the coins. But yeah, if you can do it online, that's great. I'll certainly write that one down and use that. Hummer 3D, do you have a question? Yes, I do sell the balls and the dies and the punches and the specialized tools. Let me type that in. Let's see. So it's just jasonsworks.etsy.com. And I've got quite a few different tools and plus a manual that has all this information and more. So and Hummer, you're asking for where to get the stretcher. They're getting a little hard to find, but if you look for, I think a Pepe tool is a good one. Also, the Durston, Rio Grande has some, but just have to try to find one. You shouldn't. Pepe's around 250, Durston around 400. So if you can find them for around that price, then it's a good deal. Sometimes you can pick one up used. If you know any jewelry stores, they in your area, they might have an old one in the shop, and want to get rid of it for cheap. So, but they're fairly easy to find, but getting tough. So. And Tina, you're picking up a 10-ton press. Wow. For the harder metals, I plan to avoid hammering as much as possible. Yeah, I shouldn't have to hammer at all. Using the dies and your ring sizer, shouldn't be any hammering involved. So, and really, the press you may not even need. I don't use one. So, and like you were saying before, practice with the quarters and the halves, and then kind of work your way up. Yeah, sounds like you got the same story, huh? I've been getting a lot of those requests, and they are kind of a trap, but they're fun. Oh, thanks, Tina. Yeah, Craigslist. That's Kagan. I haven't used the Kagan. I'd be interested in trying one of those out. That name's been popping up lately. I wouldn't mind trying. That's the black one that is sideways, right? I think so. I've only seen a couple of them, but haven't been able to use one yet. So. So I like to oversize the ring about 2 or 3 times and then reduce it down to the final size. Make sure it's all symmetric. The Rathbone ring stretcher. I don't know about the Rathbone. Is that you're sizing up? I'm not familiar with. It sounds familiar, so it couldn't. Yeah, I think the best bang for the buck is this guy right here. Just because you have the reduction, you have it. It comes with this plate for reducing your band rings, but you can do dimes, quarters, up to a presidential dollar, just using that. And then to get with the bigger coins, then you want to go with that guy there. But this is a 6-panel mandrel, expanding mandrel there, and made in Great Britain. So, but it's a good machine. I had a Pepe before, and I had no complaints. Just wanted to try the Durston out. Well, this is kind of fun making rings and talking to friends. I'm actually kind of a recluse, so this is good for me. And getting great information, so. See, Tina's asking about the smaller size rings. I haven't. It's, well, let's see, probably 75, 80% are for $half, and then another 15% or so for dollars, and then the rest are for the smaller coins, for smaller rings. So probably the least amount of requests are for the smaller ones. So probably just because of, well, I don't know. Not sure why. It probably depends who you market to. Maybe I market more towards the larger rings and for the men. But the smallest ring I did was a size, what was it, a size 1, and made that out of a dime. That was extremely small and fairly difficult. It's actually a little bit more difficult than the other rings because it is so small. But it turned out nice. So, and there's one gentleman who wanted a ring. I'm sorry, wanted 2 rings made out of 1 coin. And so, what I did, I took a Barber $50 and punched a plug out of it. And so I made a ring out of the plug and out of the coin. So it was, that was a ring for him, and then that was a ring for his wife, and that was a size 3, I think. And of course, he lost all the detail on that plug ring just because he had to expand it out so big. But I thought it was pretty cool to be able to make two rings out of 1 coin. That way, it's, you know, tied together. So kind of neat. But there are some requests for some pretty small rings, that's for sure. .25. Wow, that is very small. Yeah, I think size 1 is my smallest. I've gone to, well, just out of experimentation. I think I've gone to a double aught. This isn't gonna get down that small, but just seeing how small I could go and whatnot. That's kind of a good tip, Tina, is when you get your tools ready to go and you start working with the rings, is to take your coin and see, you know, say you take your quarter and you see how big you can make it before you lose detail or it tears, and then you take another one and you see how small you can make it, and so that way you kind of have a gauge of how big you can go and how small you can go, and then always try to push out a little bit further to get those bigger sizes and smaller sizes. So, but that way you get to learn your equipment, the limitations of the equipment, and then be able to build the skill set with the rings. So that's a good idea with the earrings. What I use them for mainly, I melt them down and do sand casting, make bracelets. I have a Durston roller here as well. Let me show you that guy. So I'll take the plugs and pour a bar, and then I'll roll it through the roller there with the different plates and make bracelets. So that's what I generally do, and I'll melt a little bit more silver into it to make it sterling, the 92.5. So, but earrings that's a great idea. I was thinking too, you could do like bracelets, charm bracelets, different things. Even get a doming block and put a little, you know, 3-dimensional shape to them, and then do different things with them too. So, but well, shoot, we're going on an hour now. That went quick. I'm wondering what you, Ross, what you use the plugs for. Oh, I missed the question from Hummer 3D. Let's see. Yeah, Hummer, I do have the stretcher attached. I've got 4 bolts going through, and just some wing nuts on the bottom side, so I can take it off real quick and make rings at farmers markets or whatever. But it is, you have to attach it actually to the table. Had one gentleman try to work the machine without it being attached, and you can't get the leverage. There's no power if it's not attached. So you have to attach the machine to a stable table, a sturdy table. Yeah, that's one thing I like. Tina's saying that the possibilities are endless, and that's what I really fell in love with working with jewelry and silver, is that uh, it really is endless. It's just your imagination that stops you from what you can make. And then if you mess up, well, you can melt it down, refine it, start all over again, right from where you began, and nothing's lost. So you can't do that with everything. So I thought that was kind of a neat option. Yeah, I'm not a machinist. I'm trying to learn. Tina's asking if I'm a machinist. No, I'm kind of a jack of all trades. Kind of started blacksmithing years ago and making Damascus knives, but really I'll find a new hobby and just jump all into it and learn as much as I can, and then move on to something else. So, but jewelry has definitely grabbed my attention for quite a while now. So, but always looking for the next hobby. But I'm sure I'll be doing this for, well, probably forever. It's just so much fun. So, yeah. It's a good idea, Ross. Just, yeah, trade. It's always silver, right? So it's always worth money. So you can just trade it in, get more coins, and keep on chugging away. It's actually a really good idea. I got to buff this real quick. Question for Hummer 3D: Are you making rings, or looking into getting it? Start to do it. And question for Ross and Tina: wondering if you're making rings, or would want to make rings mobile, like at craft fairs and whatnot. That seems to be a lot of fun and gets a lot of attention. Hey, there's Alex. Alex is asking what brand of ring sizer I use. I'm using a Durston. I had a Pepe, and no complaints on it. It's a great machine. Just wanted to try Durston, and that's a great machine too. So, okay. On just a ring sizer, that's got to be kind of tricky. I mean, like doing dimes and quarters, using the plate here for getting those done, I guess. So, yeah, that's how I started. You know, trying to figure this thing out, and came across that machine. It's like, oh, that looks like it might work, and started destroying dimes and quarters. So yeah, Adam McSkinney, he's a great guy. Love that guy. He's got some great methods, great videos out there. Definitely someone to um, look at his information, because he's, yeah, really cool guy. Certainly helped me out a lot. Okay. Ross, you're thinking about going mobile? Okay. Look out. Yeah, mobile's fun. There's a big fair that is near me every year, but I'm thinking it's just, I don't know, too big. Be working 12, 14-hour days for 2 weeks, and I don't know. I've done a lot of that before. But farmers markets are fun. Craft fairs are fun. Yeah, upgrade methods, Hummer. Yeah, it seems like there's always something new coming out too, because it is a pretty young. Well, I won't say young art, because the guys been doing this for decades. So, but it's really getting popular. So, but new methods are coming out all the time from people like yourself. So, and Alex asking, can you make rings on just the structure? Yes. Yeah, I just use this guy right here for dimes, quarters, nickels, $half, dollars, silver eagles, basically everything. So that works good for me. I like to keep the tools down to a minimum as much as possible, whenever possible. So that's what makes it easier to go mobile as well. What I'll do when I go out of the shop to make the rings, I'll attach this to a anvil. The anvil is kind of hard to move around, but it works as a great dead weight, I guess you could call it. Just a bench to work from. I'll sit down on a low seat and attach this to the anvil. I use all thread that I've bent, and to go up and around both sides of the anvil to suck this down on top of the anvil, and then wherever I can move the anvil, I can make rings. So that's pretty simple and a lot of fun. Well, we got 7 viewers. That's good. It's 9 o'clock. Well, give another 5 minutes or so, and I guess we can start winding down. So if you have any last questions, feel free to type them in. And I would like at some point to be able to get you guys up on video, and so we can talk and not have this time delay. So, but we'll see how it goes down the road. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got your questions answered. But feel free to ask some more if you like. So there's Tina again. Oh, that's a great idea to increase the jewelry for guys. Because yeah, we we love the coin rings because we love coins. So I think that will definitely increase your jewelry line for men. That's a great idea. Yeah, Ross, I did do a video at the farmers market that I go to. I can't remember what pro tip that is. I think number 8. I've got 7 or 8, one of those. But that was fun. That's basically my setup. So if you guys want to check that out, just look at my other YouTube videos, the pro tip number 7 or 8, something like that. And that's how I'm set up at the farmers market. So. Alex, yes, the reducer is sufficient on the stretcher. I designed it so that, let me take it off here. Designed it so it'll fit underneath your ram. There we go. So it'll just slide right in there with some wiggle room in case you have another stretcher. It's a little bit different design, but basically wanted to maximize the diameter, also the height, and also the size of the interior diameter of the holes. I wanted to make it as most efficient as possible, which I think I've accomplished by incrementing it up by 1/10 of an inch for each hole. So this is a 1.1, 1.2, and then 1.3, 1.4. and then 1.5, 1.6. So this will reduce your half dollars. This will fold your dollars, and then also reduce your dollars in those two. And then Silver Eagle here on this one, that'll fold the Silver Eagle and then reduce the Silver Eagle. So it's basically just taking this plate here and going from that hole, the largest hole that they offer there, and then just increasing in size with these here, so you can do larger coins. That's basically the thought behind the madness, if you will. So Tina, will this be a weekly event? I don't know. I don't see why not. I might do it twice a month. See how it goes. Let me know what you think would be good. If it'd be a weekly or bi-monthly or monthly or whatever. And Alex, yes, this is my full-time job. I had another job prior to this, and well, long story short, I'm doing this now. So, but yeah, this is my full-time deal. So I've got some other plans well, not other plans, but I've got plans to write some other manuals that I think would be pretty popular, and want to help people create a business for themselves and help make some money for themselves. So that's what my goal is, and to learn a new skill, new craft. So yeah, this is kind of step 1, phase 1. So we'll see how it goes, but it's a lot of fun. And Hummer, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. Feel free to, for Hummer 3D, and for everybody, feel free to write me through Etsy. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me. And if you have any questions on the tools or whatnot. So fortnightly would be good. How often is that? Fortnightly? Every 4 nights? Or 4 times a night? We'll see. I'll think on it a little bit, and I'll get another post up on when the next one will be. So, but this is a lot of fun. So this is a lot of fun. I think I would like to do this more often. So, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys asking the questions and checking it out. So electronics for 30 years. That's a long time. It's never too late to start over. I did it. I completely started over. So it's always possible. It's a little nerve-wracking at times, but also exciting. But I used to work I used to work at a job. Well, long story, but I like being able to not always know where the next check's going to come from. It keeps you hungry, and it makes you fight a little bit more and think a little bit harder outside the box. So it's a good feeling. I like it. Every 2 weeks. Okay, that sounds good. I like that. I think we could try that. Hey, thanks, Ross. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and have a good night. And you guys have oh, Aussie time. Oh, Aussie term for Tina. Yeah, thank you, Ross and Tina and Alex and Hummer 3D. You guys have a wonderful night, and happy 4th of July tomorrow. Be safe, have fun, and we'll see you next time. Talk to you later. Bye.